Ladies and gentlemen, geeks and nerds, welcome back to another episode of Road to HermitCraft. And today we are starting off with a little bit of destruction. We are taking down this thing. Now, who can remember what this is? Have a think about it. Yes, this is a mini mob farm that we made a few episodes ago. Well, quite some time ago now, actually, in the 1.12 days. We needed some white dye, needed some bone meal, so we made this this small thing. This is an Il Mango design, and yeah, we built that at the time, and yeah, it was pretty good. Got us the bones we needed, but yeah, it's time to come down because I want to build a new one. I want to build a new mob farm today, and it's going to be one of my own design. You know, obviously there are a load of mob farms around. There's countless videos about how to build mob farms, that kind of thing, and we could easily just take someone else's design, but there's no fun in that. What I'd rather do is just work it all out for myself and build my own thing. So today I've challenged myself to build a new mob farm without looking at any videos or anything like that. Just build one from scratch, from the ground up. And yeah, see how it goes. So yeah, I've done a bit of that in creative, so I think I know what I'm doing now, and I'm pretty happy how it's turned out. But yeah, that is the thing for today. So let's get this thing destroyed, and then we'll go over to the build site and talk about this farm and how it's going to work. The old mob farm has been taken down. We've reclaimed some resources, which is always useful. So let's move on and talk about where we're going to build this mob farm. And yeah, the location is very important. And I think I've been toying with where to build it. Basically, I've got two candidates. Either we can build it right over here in the desert, which we'll come on to in a second, or we can build it all the way over here. I can scoot this way in the ocean. Now, obviously, if we build it in the ocean above there, it's going to be a lot easier. Because there's no blocks to remove in terms of conditioning the area. It's all nice and easy. There's nowhere for mobs to spawn. Obviously mobs, we get drowns can spawn in the sea still, in the ocean. So we need to deal with that. But apart from that, yeah, not really any problem. Building it out here is pretty simple. But there is a benefit to building your mob farm in a desert. Let's get into that, shall we? So the reason is that you'll end up getting more useful drops. And by that I mean you'll get less zombie flesh, and the reason for that is that in a desert we have the husk which spawns. Now when mobs spawn in a particular biome, they have a weighting, and a husk has an 80% weighting and a zombie has a 20% weighting inside a desert. But a husk won't spawn if it doesn't have access to the sky. So in a mob farm, as long as it's got a roof on it, which I guess most mob farms will, that means no husks will spawn inside it, and only a 20% chance of a zombie will spawn. And so that means you'll get much less zombie spawns, and so much less zombie flesh. And of course that means you'll get much more skeletons and bones and spiders and string and that kind of stuff. So yeah, so it's much better to build your mob farm inside a desert if you can. And so yeah, that's the question. I'm just working it out in my mind right now as I'm flying around. So we could build it here. So if I sort of scoot down here, if we build it here, it will go up into the sky a bit, but what it will mean is we'll have a bit more of a job to condition the area, because obviously for any mob farm design, doesn't matter what kind of mob farm you're building, conditioning the area is very important. We don't want any mob spawning spaces anywhere else, only inside our mob farm. And so it means we're going to have to do a whole bunch of digging. So I'm going to have to take down a bunch of this stuff here, I think, and then dig down a whole bunch of this sand because I want it to be as low as we can get it. So probably going to have to take the sand down a few blocks even under this. But I guess the benefit of that is we'll end up with a load of sand, which is always useful. We go through sand like anything. You know, we use lots of glass and concrete, stuff like that. So it'd be good to get stocked up on sand anyway. And this stuff is pretty ugly, so it's got to come down anyway, I guess. So I'm thinking maybe here is the good place to do it. Yeah, but let me still think about that before I commit. But yeah, maybe here. And then what we'll have is we'll have the mob farm here. We'll get into the design of it in a bit. And we'll have the drops going into shulker boxes, and then they'll be heading this way over there towards our city, which is that way, and then they'll end up into the portal room, into our system that we already have for taking mob drops, or taking drops should I say, all the way over to the Death Star, into our storage room. So yeah, that's the idea, linking up the mob farm from over there into our infrastructure we've already got, and so the mob drops just end up magically in the Death Star, in our storage room. So that is the plan. Oh yeah, by the way, this looks like an elephant. There's the trunk. Anyway, yeah, let me just do a bit more thinking about where I'm going to build it. Originally I was thinking about the ocean, but now I'm sort of toying towards the desert. All right, let me think about it. I'll get back to you. As you can see, we have decided to build our farm in the desert, and our first job is to remove this huge lump of stone that is right in the way. Yeah, I was considering the ocean, but yeah, we're no ordinary channel. We don't do it the easy way. We take the hard way. But yeah, as I was mining away, check this out. Boom! I died. Oh no! Oh, here it is again. Ah. Yeah, I derped. What a derp. But anyway, yeah, it was all alright. I managed to get back. I had a load of backup gear, of course, in the chest, so managed to get gear back up and collect all the stuff I dropped. But yeah, then just making good progress on and removing all this stone as quickly as possible. Yeah, so what I'm doing here is I'm trying to kind of shape the rock as much as possible. So rather than taking out all of the rock, I'm shaping it so it kind of looks semi-natural, I guess. At least a good start to being that way, and we can obviously improve it later on. But yeah, I want to try and make this build look good eventually. We won't get it all done today, but if we can have like a good canvas to make a start on rather than just a cube of rock, that'd be much better. So yeah, as you watch me do this, one bit of news from this week is that Doc M built our creeper farm in his latest HermitCraft episode and gave us a shout out. So that was brilliant. So thanks very much, Doc, for that. And yeah, hope you enjoy those creepers in the cannon in the impending war. That's going to be super cool. But yeah, we're almost done now. Just mining this stuff out. So the last thing to do, now that we've got the rock there, you see that in the background, we've just got to take down the rest of this sand. And the good news is that I am getting a lot of sand and also sandstone. So we're not going to have to go mining for sand anytime soon. But yeah, we use a lot of sand with glass and concrete, so it's really good to have a good stock. I've done it again. I've underestimated how much time things take in Minecraft. So behind me here is that big block of stone. Remember that one that you saw earlier with that was all corrupted because of the chunks. Well, now it kind of looks like a normal Minecraft hill, apart from that bit over there. That still needs to be done, but forget that. Let's just move that out of the way. But yeah, all this has been done, and yeah, it doesn't look like a monstrosity anymore. It kind of looks in keeping. And then over here, I've started doing some more digging, and yeah, I think what we need to do is we need to go to the camera account so you can see this, and yeah, let's talk about it. And here is Logical Geekbot up in the sky above where this is going to be, and we're actually at the AFK spot for this farm. This is where we're going to be. And yeah, as you can see, it kind of looks like a sphere, kind of. You kind of squint about it, and there I am, right down there. You can just about see me through the fog. Not sure if that will come through, but yeah, there I am. But if we just go down a bit, make it a bit easier to see. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to clear out all of the blocks that are going to be within the 128 block radius of our farm. I could have gone around and torched up everything, but I thought, well, let's see if we can like manipulate the terrain, get it looking kind of nice, and then maybe we can do some stuff with it later. But the idea is, yeah, when we're up in our AFK spot, the only spawnable blocks are going to be inside our farm, which we'll get to later. Now, of course, the downside there is that means a lot of digging. So I've dug out all of that stone over there. Yeah, there's still that little bit at the edge there, but we don't need to worry about that for today. We have dug all of that stone out. And I've made a start on the desert part of it as well. So we still need to dig out this kind of central circle. That needs to go down a few more blocks, maybe four or five blocks, kind of down there where I see I've made a little hole there. Got to go down to there, so that's like maybe 5 blocks, something like that. But yeah, and that's kind of tapered down as if it was a sphere. So yeah, we'd have to dig out the whole thing. But yeah, so quite a lot of work that I've done and still to go. But then we'll be able to build the farm up, and that will be really good. So luckily as well, the terrain on this side won't need too much changes. I might have to shave off a little bit here and there, but we'll get back to that when we get to the testing. And likewise over here where the forest is, not too much will need to be done there, because I think we'll probably be good. But yeah, we'll test that when we get to it. But if we go up to the AFK spot, I need to teleport myself over there again to here. Right, there we are. So this is the AFK spot. And you may be wondering, how do I know what blocks to remove? How do I know where the sphere is? Well, this is because I'm using our sphere show our sphere, our function that shows the spawning sphere. I did a video about this recently, but if we do function logical sphere show, it shows a whole bunch of armor stands, and that shows the spawning sphere around us. So if this is our AFK spot, anything inside these armor stands is a spawnable block. So let's hop back on to my normal account and let's have a little walk around. And here we are at ground level, and you can see all these armor stands. So this, as I said, this shows the spawning sphere. So we need to remove all of the blocks with inside this sphere. So that kind of shows the kind of shape of this rock, while we've kind of shaped the rock this way, just to make sure that there's no spawning spaces, and we've got a bit of leeway, so we should be good there. So now all I'm doing is I've just been going round layer by layer, as you can see, all the way down. I've kind of got to here, sort of doing a circle at a time, trying to guess where the spawning spaces are going to be. Obviously, I've got these armor stands as a guide, but there's quite a big gap between them, so there might be some spaces like here that we might actually need to shave off, but we'll do some testing once we've got the farm built. So yeah, this is what I'm doing, just going to go down and remove all these blocks, and then once we've got all of this done, we're going to start building our farm up. And I think the reason I'm doing this is because what I want to try and do is, once we've got the farm built, try and make it look good as well. So I don't want to just have the farm just in the sky, just looking like a farm. We're going to cover it up and do something cool with it. I think I'm not sure what yet. I haven't decided what yet, but I've got a few ideas mulling around. But I think it'd be good if the landscape kind of looks kind of natural. So this kind of looks kind of natural like that. And I think it'll work out all right. But lots of jabbering. Let's get digging. Oh geez, why do I do this? I'm considering my life choices right now. I should have gone to the ocean. Why didn't I do that? All right, let's get digging. And the digging is complete. We are done. And I am wondering why I decide to do these things sometimes. Oh man, here it is. But here is the rest of it. Yeah, pretty good stuff. So I think we're good. I've tried my best to follow the line of the sphere that's land on this block, and obviously we have to deal with this and this side. This still needs dealing with, but that is for another day. But over here, this is the site of our mob farm, and yeah, you can see here the shape of that sphere. So I've tried my best to really pay attention to where the armor stands are. So hopefully there's no blocks that are left outside of it, or inside of it, should I say? And I've even shaved. I had to shave quite a bit off over that side, and yeah, sort of gone through. So I think it's good. I think we're good, but we'll have to wait and see. And that magma block is the center of the farm at the bottom, but we'll get onto that in a second. But yeah, a lot of digging, a lot of wrist ache. But anyway, down here, check out these shulker boxes. So we're not going to need to go mining for sand anytime soon, because here we have 16 shulker boxes absolutely full of sand, which is good news. And these ones over here, these 10 shulker boxes are full of sandstone. Now, obviously, there was a lot more sandstone in this. I didn't bother keeping the rest of it. 10 shulker boxes was enough. But yeah, so we're here. We're all good. Now, let me set some expectations before we get into the build of this farm. And that is that building mob farms and trying to build something that's new and novel is actually quite hard. I tried to sort of think of some new ways of doing things. But yeah, pretty much everything's been done. And they're all kind of variations of the same kind of theme. You know, you have the flushing farms with water that pushes mobs off. You have the kind of ones with slime flying machines that have like a bar that moves across and pushes mobs, like we did for our Enderman farm. And then we have like shifting floor designers as well. So yeah, it was hard to do something new. So this challenge was really, can I just build a farm and design it in creative without referring to anyone else's designs and just build something that's going to work? Now, in my test world, this farm gives me about 15,500 drops per hour, which is not super crazy, but it's pretty good. I think it's going to be good enough for our needs in our single player world. But obviously there's going to be lots of elements in here that I just remember from various designs that are common practice, I guess. But yeah, so let me build this up, and I guess what I'll do is I'll bring you in every now and again when we've made a bit of progress. And also, one thing I was thinking about is maybe for this type of episode, it would have been better to show you the thinking process. So kind of go into a creative world, spend a bit of time in there, and sort of show you the various steps that I've taken to kind of come to the final design. So if you think that would be a good thing, maybe for the next one, maybe the next farm I design, maybe we can spend a bit more time in creative and sort of go through the thinking process. So I think maybe that part of it would have been more interesting. But you know, only hindsight. You know, we can live and learn. But yeah, let me know what you think about that. But yeah, let's get building with this, and I'll talk you through it as we go, and yeah, tell you about the design decisions that I made at each point. Here is the first part of our farm, and before we start talking about this, I just want to talk about the farm just in general. So we're going to go for a flushing type farm. That's where you have some water that will push the mobs around and get them where we want them, and the mobs are going to be spawning right at the top, right up there, pretty high up. They're going to fall down, land on this magma block, and drop all of their stuff on top, and this minecart's underneath will pick it up and go into this contraption right over here. So let's just have a quick test of that. So if I drop these sea lanterns onto the magma blocks, it should get picked up, and we'll see what happens with those. So if we watch what happens, there we go. Let's step back a little bit so it's not too loud. Right, so the items get unloaded, go into this dropper. The comparator sees this. This is the standard kind of unloader that we've used many times before, but we're just kind of hooking off of that here. So this piston is powered by this torch through quasi connectivity, or QC for short, and that will bring up this observer right here, which gives an observer clock with these two. And that chains it forward, which powers this block, which powers the dropper, which spits out all the items. And there, as you saw, once it finished unloading, the piston went back and it stopped unloading. Now we should have 62. There you go, 62. And then there's nothing in here and nothing in here. So that is pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool. So we just need to duplicate this up another 5 times, and it's getting dark. I need to go to sleep. And then once we've done that, we can build the spawning rooms, which are going to be up there. Many mobs are going to die on these magma blocks. Yes, I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, so this is all done. Got that duplicated up. So we've got a total of seven slices in total. And I've just added this on and off switch right here. So these slime blocks we've got here would now be moved by this lever. So now that it's on, the minecarts go off. And if we turn it off again, like that, when they come back, they stay there. So that's the way to turn on and off the farm. We're going to link that up as well to the rest of the farm. So let's go up and have a look at the beginnings of the spawning rooms. So here is floor number 1. We're going to have 10 in total, and this is pretty straightforward actually. So we're going to use waterlogged trapdoors. So here's a bunch of trapdoors, and they're all waterlogged. And then we have another 7 blocks over here to this hole. And basically, when we take away the power, the trapdoors go down, which releases the water, and that will flush the mobs into the middle. Pretty straightforward, right? That's it, all there is to it. And when we power it again, the trapdoors go up and the water is retracted. So that is that. Obviously, there are other ways to do flushing farms with pistons or with dispensers. But yeah, who wants to craft those, right? We could just use trapdoors. So that keeps things nice and simple and easy. So yeah, just got to have to duplicate this up another 9 times. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have these running alternately. So when this floor is flushing, when this floor's got water on it, the floor above won't. And so we'll always have mobs spawning on alternate floors. Hopefully that increases the rates too. And just want to mention a couple of small things that was important when I was doing some testing. So originally when I built this, I had a hole that was too wide, because I wanted to make sure obviously spiders can go through. But what can happen is, I saw happen quite often, was that if you had a spider going this way and a spider going this way, they could then hit each other, and then they wouldn't be able to fall down because the hitboxes were too fat and they wouldn't go down. But if you make it 3 wide, then that's big enough for them to kind of work it out, and then they end up falling down and we get their drops, which is great. So yeah, that's the important thing. And oh yeah, the other thing is the magma blocks down there. Obviously this hole is 3 wide, but our magma blocks are 7 wide. That's just to make sure that any items that land a little bit off. So when a mob drops over here, sometimes the items can explode and go this way or this way. Sometimes a mob will have momentum because of the water, and so that'll have some movement too. So that just makes sure we pick up all of the drops. So yeah, that's it really. Simple stuff. So we just need to build this up, and the sun is setting. So let me build up another 9 of these, and then we just need to add a clock to this thing, and then our shulker box loader, and then we're pretty much done. Then we just have to hook it up to our water streams to take our shulker boxes over to the end and into the Death Star. And there they are, the first 10 layers all in place, and you can see there that the water is on alternate floors. Hopefully you can see there if I just scoot this way. There we go. So all the same as that one we already did, just duplicated up 10 times. So that's all we've done on that front. So up at the top, Next job is to add the roof. So we're going to use these slabs, these bottom slabs, so that means that mobs can't spawn on top, which is great because we just want to have mobs spawning inside our farm, not outside of it. And we're going to extend the roof by 15 blocks out in each direction, and then we're going to fill these in and then join all of these up. So we're going to end up with a octagon shape on top of the roof. Now that will block all of the sunlight, so this will be dark all the time during the day and of course during the night. But also, I think, now I don't know, I don't understand the full mechanics of this, but it definitely makes a difference to have an extended roof rather than having just solid blocks to block the light, because I think it has something to do with the pack spawning. I think spawns that try and happen outside here because of the roof then somehow get funneled into the farm. It definitely made a difference when I was doing testing. Definitely got better rates with a farm with a roof that extended out versus not. So yeah, it definitely helps, but I don't fully understand it, but I know it's got something to do with pack spawning of mobs. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we need to do the roof. So that's the next job. And the other thing I've done is I've added a clock to our redstone. So if I come down here, there we go. So there is an etho hopper clock, standard kind of clock. And you can see here is our torch tower that goes all the way up. So obviously each torch will turn the alternate ones on and off. So all the ones on this side are on, all the ones on this side are off. And so we have on alternate floors, one floor will be linked to this torch, floor underneath it is linked to the outside one. And then our hopper clock, which is down here, links up to the bottom torch like that. And so as it switches sides, that torch is either on or off. And so then that switches the floors, which ones have water, which ones don't. So that's all done. So, and the other thing is I just added this slime block stuff here to the switch we had at the bottom. So the same switch that turns on the minecarts to go backwards and forwards also extends this slime block up, and this one right here. So that will lock the timer. So that will turn that on and off as well. So one switch to rule them all. So we are pretty good. We're almost there now. So I'm just going to fill in the roof, and that'll be the farm itself done. And then the next job is to add our shulker box loaders. And I'm going to use the same design that we used over in our end portal room, the one by Ilmango. So I'm going to put that in here. Now you've seen me build that before, so I'm just going to do that one. It's going to be exactly the same design. And then the shulker boxes are going to come out of that, and I'm going to put them into a water stream over this way somewhere. I need to work out the exact coordinates. And then there's going to be a long water stream that goes all the way that way and into the portal room and into the same system we've already got. So I think I'm just going to get all of that stuff done. I've just noticed the time in terms of how long this episode's going, and yeah, I've managed to use up all that time digging. Not much actually building a farm, but I think we can get it all done. So yeah, I'm just going to get all that built up, and then we can have a demo and see this thing working, I think. And there we are, it all worked. Oh yes, killing mobs like nobody's business. And this is my AFK spot, so I was up here AFK while Logical Geekbot was in drone mode, flying around, getting us all those cool shots. So yeah, let's fly on down. Oh yes, this thing is working fantastically. I did a bit of testing before that cinematic, and yeah, there was definitely a few spots that I missed. A few over here, and there's a couple here, and a whole bunch over here that I missed. So yeah, I managed to shave those ones off as well. So hopefully we should be good now in terms of spawning spaces. And let's turn this off now. There we go, it's all off. And here's our items coming around here. So this is similar to what we do in our underground mine, because there's just a few too many items for the hoppers to pick it up. So most of the time they pick it up, but sometimes they go all the way around. And yeah, we do also get some other drops, like we get things like the witch drops, but there's so few of those, it's not worth collecting, in my opinion. We've already got a witch farm, and you can see there's a chicken there. Sometimes there's chicken jockeys, that kind of stuff. So again, that stuff, we're just going to ignore that, and that will just despawn over time. And here's our item filters and struggle box loader and stuff, and then that goes down that water stream, as you saw, all the way over to the end. And yeah, so let's go over there to the Falcon, because we should have a minecart waiting for us on the platform. Okay, here we are. Let's go to the Falcon and see what awaits us. There should be a minecart. Oh, there it is. We can hear it clicking. So it's unloaded all of the shulker boxes that are in there. So now let's go over to the Death Star and see if they've turned up in our storage system. Here they are. They're coming through. There's one, there's two, three, maybe two more, hopefully. And last one, there he is. All five have made it through. And this is doing a bunch of stuff. So let's have a look. Now I do already have some stuff here, because as you can see, I've got a sea of shulker boxes, and I've started sorting out my my storage, which we started on stream. But I think I didn't have any string before. Ah, we've got a string now. Yes, that's good. Bones. Yes, that's coming. Fantastic. Oh, it's all coming in. Brilliant. This is all working lovely. Yes, yes, yes. And this was already filled up because we had a lot of stuff from the creeper farm. And in there yet? No, it might be in the hoppers behind. But that looks like that is working fantastically. So now we automatically get all of our stones from our mine and a whole bunch of mob drops. And obviously we've got this little thing here, slime block. That's to come. Oh yes. So still got a bit of work in this room to do. Yeah, a lot of sorting out to do. Got quite a bit of it done, but yeah, a lot more to do in the meantime. And I've still got to work out how I'm going to do that side. But yeah, all good stuff, all fun and games. So right, let's head on over for one last thing down here. And the new member to the Hall of Fame is Necrosapiens. Oh yes, oh, thank you for the support. And yeah, Necrosapiens is obviously epic in Discord and also in the comment section. Lots of support, lots of help. So thank you so much for all the support for quite some time. So yeah, another long-standing member of the community in the Hall of Fame at last. All right, so that is about it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, then please hit the like button, and if you are new, then feel free to subscribe. And if you've got any comments or suggestions or any kind of feedback, then get it in that comment section. All right, my geeks, until next time, I will see you later.